Hello everyone, how are you today? En el video de esta semana estaremos viendo dos clases, dos temas. Tenemos la lección 5B y la lección 5C. Okay, so this is the page 40 on lesson 5B and the title is 12 last wallets. And we have our question here. What's the most beautiful beach you've ever been to? And the answer is Manel Bay in the US state of Hawaii. In this lesson, we are going to see superlatives plus ever and present perfect. Okay, the vocabulary is about describing a town or city. Que esta parte les va a ayudar, bueno, esta lección les va a ayudar para realizar uno de los párrafos que viene en su proyecto parte 2. So here's the vocabulary. You have the grammar, which I already mentioned. And let's see the other part of the page. We're just going to complete here with the help of the images. Okay, and here you have this activity for superlatives. Then on the listening, you have this text and you have to explain on your own words how the experiment worked. Okay, so you're gonna have to answer these questions too. You also have the listening to help you. And for the speaking and pronunciation is going to be just practice. Okay, only practice. There's no need to send audio in this lesson, but it is important that you do the writing here on the page 116, which you will have on the PDF or either on your book. It is about describing where you live. It refers to your town or your city, okay? And there is where you're going to use the superlatives. So let's start with the grammar bank, and here we have these examples. The superlatives, remember, is that when we say what is the highest of something, el más de algo, el que tiene esa característica pero que sobresale de algún grupo. So this is the example. Tokyo is the cleanest city in the world. Ok, en este ejemplo ya están agregando este complemento in the world, pero si fuera hasta city, igual estaría también correcto. Mexico is one of the most popular vacation destinations. Ok, vean que aquí estamos agregando one of, una de las más populares. Igual sigue siendo superlativo. Camping is the least expensive way to go on vacation. Aquí ya estamos viendo lo contrario, el menos. ¿Ok? El menos caro. Number 2, it's the most beautiful city I've ever been to. It's the best movie I've seen this year. Ok, ahí tenemos esos ejemplos. And remember that with superlative we use the article the plus the superlative adjectives. It could be short, like in this case, biggest, or it could be long, like with beautiful, agregamos the most antes. After the superlatives, we use in and the name of the place or singular words for groups of people, like in this case, in the world. Okay? It's the noisiest city in the world, and the oldest in the class. Para hacer más específico es donde están agregando el grupo o el lugar. De dónde sobresale esta persona o esta cosa con esa característica. We can also use the least. Lo que les comentaba es lo opuesto, el menos. plus the adjective. Aquí ya vamos a utilizar el adjetivo solo, no importa que sea corto o largo. We can say the least, either expensive or the cheapest. Okay. We often use also the plus the superlative with the present perfect tense ever. Okay. We have cold, colder, and the coldest ever. Aquí podríamos agregarle el ever. Es como para hacer más exagerado alguna característica. Y bueno, aquí tenemos ya otros adjetivos. Thin, thinner, the thinnest. Healthy, healthier, the healthiest. Beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. Good, better, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Far, farther, farther, the farthest or the farthest. Remember, these three last are irregular adjectives. So let's start with the grammar bank activity. We have part A, and you have to complete with a superlative. You already have the adjective in the parentheses, so just check if it's short or long so you can change it. Okay, right now you can pause the video. Okay, let's read the answers and check on your notes, please, if you were correct. Number 1, Thais are the most generous people I've ever met. 2, yesterday was the hottest day of the year. 3, early morning is the worst time to drive to the city. 4, she's the friendliest girl at school. 5, this is the most important part of the exam. 6, the best time to visit New England is the fall. 7, Delhi in India is one of the most polluted cities in the world. 8, the farthest I've ever flown is to Bali. 9, it was the funniest movie I've ever seen. 10, Rob's daughters are all pretty, but I think Emily is the prettiest. Now this is part B, and you are going to write sentences with the superlative plus ever plus the present perfect. Look at the example here. Les están dando ya la primera parte donde van a utilizar el superlativo. Aquí tienen el adjetivo. Y en la segunda parte es donde van a utilizar el presente perfecto. Les están dando el sujeto y el verbo. Ustedes lo van a tener que cambiar. Vean cómo queda el ejemplo. It's the best. Como aquí era good, cambió a the best. Y aquí dice I've ever seen, porque les dieron el verbo sí. Entonces ustedes lo van a modificar a presente perfecto y le van a agregar el ever también. Okay, so right now you can pause the video and start creating your sentences. Already, let's see the answers. Number 1, it's the windiest place I've ever been to. 2, she's the most unfriendly person I've ever met. 3, it's the easiest exam I've ever taken. 4, they're the most expensive pants I've ever bought. 5, this is the longest book I've ever read. 6, he's the most attractive man I've ever seen. 7, it's the worst meal I've ever eaten. 8, he's the most interesting teacher we've ever had. And 9 is the most exciting job I've ever done. Okay, so check please your sentences, correct if you have any errors, especially with the verbs in past participle here. Okay. Okay, so for this lesson, you have to send only pages 40 and 41 and the writing activity, which is on 116, also this page. There's no audio for this activity, only the practice with your partner. So right now we're gonna start with the next lesson. And this is lesson 5C. It's about quantifiers too and not enough. And this is our class 15. Okay, this is your page 42. The title is How much is enough? And we have the question, how much water do you drink? Not enough. Okay, we have a speaking and listening. Also, only practice with your partner these questions. And then you have to complete this jar or pitcher. And then the reading and the vocabulary about health and the body. You have the listening, and then you have to complete with the highlighted words. On the other page, you have this article, and we have the grammar with the quantifiers that I mentioned before. Here, number 4, with the pronunciation and speaking, it's also practice, only practice. And then on the other part, you have another activity with your partner, but only practice. You don't need to send audio this time. So let's see the grammar bank for this lesson. We have too much, too many, or too. Remember, we have seen much and many. Much is for uncountable nouns, many for countable nouns. Much para cosas que no podemos contar, many para cosas que sí se pueden contar. We have this example, number 1. I'm very stressed today. I have too much work. Ok, en este caso estamos hablando de trabajo y estamos diciendo too much. My boss talks too much. Ok. And the other example, number 2. My diet is unhealthy. I eat too many cookies. Okay, also the word here, the noun is in plural, so that help us to know if it's much or many. In this case, it's too many. Number 3, I don't want to go out tonight. I'm too tired. Okay, too. También se puede utilizar solo. Sería como mucho, muy, perdón, o bastante. We use too much, too many, or too to say more than is good. And as I said before, much is for uncountable, like coffee or time or work. And many is for countable nouns like cookies, people. In this case, people, remember, it refers to personas. Entonces, por eso sí se puede utilizar many people. Okay. And we also use too plus an adjective. No podríamos utilizar too much tired. Ok, el much estaría aquí incorrecto. Ok, now we have enough or not enough. Enough sería suficiente, lo que es necesario, y not enough sería no lo suficiente. Ok, so let's read the examples. We have a number 1. Do you eat enough vegetables? I don't drink enough water. Jane doesn't sleep enough. She's always tired. Our refrigerator isn't big enough for a family of 5. I don't go to bed early enough during the week. Okay, so we use enough before a noun to mean all that is necessary. Lo que es suficiente, lo que es necesario. Va antes. We use enough after a verb with no object. and we use enough after an adjective or an adverb, okay, like in this case. Okay, and remember the pronunciation at the end, GH se escucha como F, por eso decimos enough. Okay, so practice that sound, enough. Okay, this is the part A for the grammar bank, and you have to choose between much or many depending on the noun. Okay, the first, here we have the example. How much coffee do you drink? Por ahí si todavía se confunden con esto, coffee, el café no se puede contar. Lo que sí se puede contar son las tazas de café. Cuando hay un sustantivo que no se puede contar, lo que sí se puede contar son los contenedores. Entonces, en el caso de, por ejemplo, el azúcar, la leche, el agua, eso no se puede contar a menos que digas un cartón de leche, un vaso de agua, ¿sí? Un kilo de azúcar. Eso sí se puede contar. So this is the first activity for part A. Choose between much, many, or depending if you have too or too much. Remember the rules. Okay, so right now, pause the video. Okay, I'm gonna read the answers and you check on your notes, please, if you're correct. We have number 1, I eat too much chocolate. 2, I eat too many potato chips. 3, do you drink enough water? 4, I can't come. I'm too busy. 5, this suitcase isn't big enough. 6, I worry too much. 7, you're always at home. You don't go out enough. And 8, I don't eat enough vegetables. Okay? Now on part B for the grammar bank, you have to complete with too much, too many, or enough. So be careful with these ones. Let's read the example. You eat too much red meat. It isn't good for you. Okay? So right now, pause the video so you can complete the sentences. Let's see the answers. Number 1, I'm not in shape. I don't exercise enough. 2, I can walk to school. It's too far. 3, there are too many cars on the freeways today. 4, I spend too much time on the computer. It gives me headaches. 5, I don't read enough. Only 5 or 6 books a year. 6, I didn't buy the coat because it was too expensive. 7, there were too many people at the party, so it was impossible to dance. 8, I don't like watching movies on my phone because the screen isn't big enough. Okay, so for lesson 5C, you are going to send pages 42 and 43. No audio, no writing activity on this lesson. And remember, the due date for both of these lessons, 5B and C, will be Thursday, November 18 at noon. And on Monday, you will start seeing the assignment for the projects part 1 and part 2. I still need to check on the calendar when it's going to be due, but I think it's going to be on December, the first days of December for the project. Already? So that is everything for today, and I hope you have a great weekend. Goodbye. Take care.